Just wanted to say a few words ahead of this video because these videos come off the back of a huge lot of Eaglemoss Star Trek ships that I picked up recently, and so I've put up all the duplicates on eBay for you to have a look at, and I'll include links around and about the place. So if you've got any sort of interest in getting hold of a few of these to have a look at them for yourself, you can do so for a while at least, because it looks like they're not going to go flying off the shelves. I've tried to price them quite reasonably, so do please go and have a look, and without further ado, I will get on with the main video. Cheers. So this is the first of many videos I'm going to be doing today, hopefully. And I'm starting with a very, very old favourite, which is of course the Klingon D7-Class battlecruiser. And this made its debut in the original series. And I was just reading actually that it was not really a priority for the production of the episode that it first appeared in at all, because they didn't have much of a budget in the third season of the original series of Star Trek, but it did get brought in then because AMT were doing model kits, and they'd sold loads of Enterprises, so they wanted to be able to sell loads of something else. So they said, we will help you produce a new alien ship, which we will then do the model kits of. So, gratuitous self-interest on their part, but it got us the Klingon D7. Now, you see ships very much like this in Star Trek The Motion Picture and in many, many series after the original series. But they're not this class of ship. They are the Katingas. But the Katingas are basically a blown up D7, but they have a lot more detailing on the wings. I held off getting this model for my original series collection because I didn't really think it was as nice as the Katinga, because this is plain grey. It doesn't look terribly exciting, but nevertheless it is a really important part of Star Trek early history, because the Klingons actually gave this design to the Romulans, and in return they got Romulan cloaking tech. So originally the D7 did not cloak. It only started to cloak after the Klingons got cloaking technology from the Romulans. That's how it worked. And that's why in some other episodes of the original series, Romulan warbirds are actually Klingon D7s. So, it's clever like that. So they saved themselves the use of another model, basically. So as you can see, nice magazine to go with it, as they always are. And because of this recent lot that I've picked up, I've got all the magazines for the gaps in my collection that these ones are filling out, which is lovely. So, interestingly, it's got disruptor cannons, which I would consider to be standard Klingon weapons, but it's also got phaser emitters, which kind of interested me as a concept. And it's got photon torpedoes, so standard torpedo launcher there, but it's supposed to have cannons mounted on its nacelles and presumably elsewhere. And I don't know if it's really still lore or not, but the text here is talking a lot about a Cold War between the Federation and the Klingons, in the sense that the D7s, although they were a massive threat, didn't really get used in anger against the Federation overly much, although it was established in the series that the original Enterprise could go toe-to-toe with a single D7 and win, but it would not fare so well if it was outnumbered. So that's about all we have on them, really. And obviously, the graphics you're seeing here are the remastered original series. It's not the original version of the models as seen on screen, because obviously they've had this upgrade. So, I do remember it, and I had a small Corgi version of this one growing up, and Dinky did a much bigger version that fired sort of saucer-shaped projectiles out of it as well. So, as you can see, there's a lot of sort of the artwork here, the original sort of sketches and so on, history of the Klingon language, and of course lots of other good stuff. So, let me actually unbox the model itself now, having had a quick flick through the magazine for you there. So standard issue, standard size sort of model that I've got for you here to have a look at. But you'll see when I get it out, it is incredibly lacking in detail in many respects. But I will definitely add it now that I've got a few sort of D7/Katinga examples, so I can add it to that sort of mini collection, if you like. So it's a nice solid model. I mean, the neck's always a concern, but the neck here feels metallic, which is good. The underside is a softer plastic, but the top wing is metal, so that'll probably be pretty durable, I think, when all's said and done. The neck piece here is plastic. Now, you might be wondering why on earth they designed the ship in this fashion. Well, the nacelles being where they are was because there was an old rule for the original series that you had to have sort of pairs of warp nacelles, and they had to be in line of sight of each other to make it work, allow it to go to warp. So that's why they're paired in the way that they are. As for the neck, apparently, now I think I watched a video on this once. Apparently, it was to try and stop mutinies. So you couldn't get from this end of the ship to that end of the ship, short of transporting across, I suppose, en masse. You had to sort of go into single file to kind of get down into the command deck, so it would prevent mutinies. Now, I've no idea if that's official canon law, but I quite like it as a concept because it could happen on a Klingon ship. If the warriors thought that the captain was doing something dishonourable or just wasn't up to the fight or whatever, they might well try and take it over. We have seen that, so that is certainly a possibility. Let's just crack open its stand now. It should be fairly straightforward because I was laughing to myself. There didn't used to be a precursor class in canon to this until Enterprise introduced the idea of a D5. But I'm not sure that they actually used the D5 on screen. They designed it, but then they actually used the Katinga model, strangely, for Enterprise era, because they felt that was the better model that they had available to them at the time, I believe. So I'm not sure if we ever actually got a D5 on screen, but there's the D7. So, I mean, it's going to look nice in anyone's collection, and it is completely era appropriate if you've got a sort of an original series collection. There's no two ways about it. And as I say, I did hum and ha about putting it into my original series collection, but I did go for the Katinga just because it's a bit more interesting to look at. But this is the one that started it all off, and it established a Klingon sort of design style that lasted throughout the remainder of the other series as they went on. So you really can't knock it conceptually. All the Klingon ships that followed owe a lot to the D7. So I think that's it for this one, and I've got about 20 more to go, so I'd better crack on. But do like and subscribe as ever. And if you're watching this at the right time, do check out the auction that I've got for some of my duplicates at the moment. And better crack on. Cheers for now.